Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is playoff week 1 edition of Title Time. I'm your host, Jason. And with me, as always, is my band of merry men. We're going to start down below me here. We've got, you know what? That reaction from Justin, I got to go to him first because when I said band of merry men, he did a little men in tights jig over there. So, Justin, how you doing this morning?
I'm glad you got the reference. Only us old people recall the Robin Hood Men in Tights. So yeah, I'm doing great. It's going to be a fun week. We're in the playoffs, so yeah, I'm excited. Let's roll. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the playoffs. I am also on tilt. I have the number 1 ranked team, and I'm slated to lose to the 6th place team, who had a negative record, but is also rolling out Joe Burrow and Chase. He has the stack, so I understand why I'm projected to lose in that one. It'll be all right. All right, David, how are you doing this week?
Kira's getting teeth finally. So, and unlike Declan, whose teeth just sprouted up one day and he was fine, hers are taking their time and making her miserable. So, I've been up a lot or sleeping with Akira on my chest a lot.
I don't want to get too personal, but I apologize to Dina for the teeth incoming. So we can start there. Rich,
we can also end there.
How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. Got a little baggy eyes and stuff like that. I took my son and my wife. We hour and a half drive yesterday to a concert. Zach Bryan, I believe, was a concert that they went to. Dropped them off. I don't like going to concerts because I hate being around big crowds and everything. So, what did I decide to do? I decided to go to Hard Rock Cafe Casino and just waste money.
There you go. Well, it's Christmas time. Who needs cash?
I was hoping to get back everything my wife spent so far. That didn't happen.
No, you just dug yourself a bigger hole. But it is that time of year. I do want to mention George and I had our Toys for Tots shopping yesterday. And if anybody who's in any of our fantasy charity leagues are watching, I want to say thank you for all the donations this year. We raised right around $4,500 because Target has sales and gives us discounts that they don't offer to everybody else during this time of year. We were able to buy like $6,300 worth of stuff with that $4,500. And we brought it down to the donation center yesterday, and they'll be giving them out to kids or the families next week. So thank you to everybody who donates every year. It's my favorite day of the year is being able to shop for the kids, and right behind it is if we're not too busy, if we don't have anything scheduled, which is it's crazy this time of year, but we also go down and help distribute the toys. We donate time. So right behind shopping for the toys, my second favorite day is handing them out. So if you're able this season and you don't have money, there's always volunteer opportunities to help Toys for Tots in other ways. So they'll take monetary donations, toy donations, and labor donations, anything you got. So go help some kids that are needy for this Christmas. So thank you guys. With that said, I also want to mention patreon.com/toilets-to-titles. If you do have money, donate to toys or donate to kids for toys, and then right after that, we have the ability for it's $2.99 at our lowest tier. So we got the lowest tier there. If you give us enough, we'll let you sit on George's sleigh as he pretends to be Santa. I won't say the dirty things he does as Santa, but you've seen Bad Santa. It's okay. So we've got tiers. We've got tiers at $2.99 on up. I say we have a tier for every salary. So give a little, give a lot. It is the Christmas season, and Justin has to eat. So patreon.com/toilets-titles. Thank you guys. So I'm going to get into, I do want to mention that last week George allowed rule breaking here, where Mark was able to pick his own team. And here's the thing. After I thought about it, I was okay with it because the Rams were super big underdogs against the Bills. They ended up pulling it out anyway. So that was super impressive. I'm going to rely on you gentlemen to be honest and tell me who you picked, because I don't have it in front of me of who you picked because I wasn't here. I didn't get to write it down on my piece of paper. I can probably scroll through the conversation we had after the show where you guys posted it. But if you remember, you can tell me, and then we can get into the picks for this week. Go ahead, Rich.
So, Scout's honor, I picked the Rams over the Bills last week. So that was the one I picked.
Okay, so two had the Rams. Both of those were winners. Do you remember who you picked, David?
Yeah, I picked the Chargers.
And that didn't go so well for you. So 2-1. All right, Justin.
I honestly don't know for sure, but I think I had the Bills over the Rams, but I'm not positive.
I don't think all three of you took.
He had the Bears 26-20 exact score.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was bad.
Okay, here we are. We got it. I found it. All right. George had Arizona. I don't think they won last week. So Rich, David had the Chargers.
No,
Justin
they
had the
lost.
Bears.
Arizona lost 30-18.
Okay, so and then I don't know. I don't think I was able to pick a team. I should have put one in here too. So that was unfortunate. I picked the Bucks and they won since we were allowed to pick our own teams. So how about that? We are going to do it again this week. I'm going to start with Rich, who won last week. Rich, take a look at the schedule. You get to pick a team, any team. And you know what? It's the Christmas season. I am in the giving mood. You can pick your team.
No, because like last week, I impressed on everybody that we are rolling with tradition. So we do not pick with our teams. I was holding firm for you, Jason. I was holding firm.
I appreciate that. I mean, look, it worked out for you that you didn't get to pick. You know, the guy with that roots for the Raiders not picking his team as tradition probably works out well for him.
Yeah. Don't get me started because now Max Crosby's out for the season. So the line not lining bright spot is I need Brock Bowers to break Puka Nakua's a reception for this rookie season. So he's not that far off from it. Game of the week, man. There's some actually real good games this week, but I think the probably one I'm more excited about to watch, and kind of because of how it impacts my fantasy teams and everything with some of these leagues I'm down now because of Stafford and Kupp, is the Texans and the Dolphins. Man,
Right.
Collins is fullback, healthy and stuff like that. Man, I need him to score like 3 touchdowns today. So I need this
Amen.
to shoot out. I know it's the over under is 46. There is another game. There's a couple games higher than that. One's in the 50s and everything, but I'll leave that one alone. But yeah, this should be a high scoring game, I believe.
All right. So you've got, who do you have though?
I'm picking Texans to win.
Texans. All right. Texans over the Dolphins. Got it.
Do we have
All
that
right.
score?
No.
Okay.
You can. I mean, it's fun to have the score, but
Texans are favored by 3. I'll give you a score. I believe it's going to be 28-24.
okay, Rich with the Texans, 28-24. All right, Dave.
There's so much to unpack here. I seem to lose all of these just barely every week. So I'm tempted to say the Chiefs over the Browns just because I want the Chiefs to lose. For the Steelers to, inch towards that first overall seed. But I'm not confident in that at all. And of course, I'm always tempted to take my Steelers, but I never will because that's a curse. So I guess I'm going to go with the Lions over the Bills. Probably the game of the week, right up there with the Steelers and the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, it's just two of the best teams in the league with a high over under. Let's have some fireworks. Let's have some fun.
Do you have a score? You can give me one. You don't have to.
Nah, I don't have one in mind.
All right, Justin.
So it's 2 weeks in a row that David stole mine right before I got to go. So the last week you let two people have the same one, right?
I didn't.
Okay.
But
so I'm not allowed. Okay, I'll tell
but
you
you
what.
can't. You know what? Again, it's Christmas. I'm going to give you this gift. You can
All right,
have
cool.
this.
I'm going with the same one, except I'm actually going to give you a score 34-30. Lions over the Bills.
All right, Justin. Lions. You know what? I'm going to pick the same exact game. First time we've had the 3 games, but so that we are guaranteed to get a victory out of this game, I'm taking the Bills. They got exposed a little bit last week against the Rams, but I think that might have been more of a fluke than it was anything else. I'm going to say the Bills, and I'm going to say it's not as high scoring as you said. I'm going to say 28-23. And I don't know. I don't think the Lions can go all season with only one loss, and that being to the Buccaneers. It'd be fun if that was the case as a Buccaneers fan, because right now, the last team the Eagles lost to was the Buccaneers, and the last team that the Lions lost to were the Buccaneers. So, kind of cool seeing those two teams take off after we whoop their ass. So, all right, and we'll get Marks when he hops on. He woke up late and has to feed the dog or something, and said he was going to jump on. If you're looking for George, he's helping his son with a car that's not running, so he may or may not be on driving while he's driving later. So Justin will have to block that out so we can stay on YouTube. All right, we're going to get to we've got a bunch of questions, including some from your host who's tilting. So we'll get to my questions towards the end. But I want to start off. We got Bobby Ham saying happy Sunday and happy holidays. Same to you. He's got the ham over bacon take. We talk about it all the time. None of us really agree with it, except Christmas Day. Ham is it's the day for ham, right? So his day is coming up. Go ahead, Justin.
Do you like bacon in your green beans or inside anything else that you make? As far as sides go, okay. Would you rather have those sides without bacon or not have the ham on Christmas?
So I don't know that I'd eat green beans without bacon.
Exactly. So it's still bacon over ham.
You're right. No, I mean, listen, I'm gonna cook up 2 pounds of green beans and as soon as the show is over, because I've been trying to lose weight and it's been my side dish to go with just about every meal. So we'll be doing that right after the show. Speaking of guys with incredible food takes, we got Mark jumping on here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. He gets his game of the week. I'm going to run and give my dog her medicine that I forgot to do because she needs it.
It's okay, and I'm going to have to jump off in a minute because I put a drink down on my wife's table, and it put a pink ring. Oh, she snuck in. Hey, hon. Hey, can you get me a Clorox wipe? I got a ring on her table and I want to get it off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and you just heard the how dare you. She's sneaking out of here. Mark, why don't you give me your pick for this week? I did tell everybody they are allowed to pick their own teams this week. Rich had integrity and didn't pick the Raiders. Or he just was smart and didn't pick the Raiders. It's up to you on the narrative you want to pick there. It's your call. But thank you. Oh, hey.
Okay, I'll take the Rams then this week.
Oh, you can't see it, but it's a Darth Vader coaster.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That'll solve the problem.
Well, it would have if I had it before I put the ring on the table. Anyway, so you're taking the Rams again. It worked for you last week.
They already played and won.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
I
forgot because Cooper Kupp, my only player on that team. No, I have Kyron too. I can't even say that. But one of my only players on that team got me a 0, so it might as well have been they didn't play yet.
Yeah, dude. I have Cooper Kupp in a league as well, and I watched every second of that game, and I was still shocked in the morning when I looked and saw he had 6 points. It just with everything that he does during the game, it doesn't seem like he's not involved like he wasn't on Thursday night.
What's
anyway,
crazy is he was doing the Mark Andrews from earlier in the season where super involved in the blocking game.
Yeah.
But not what you want in fantasy.
For sure.
So who do you really have this week?
Already?
Right now, 3 of us have picked the Lions or Bills. Rich took
cheated.
the Texans.
So we're allowed to double up on games?
No,
We
I
are
cheated.
if you want. Yeah, he cheated. It's the Christmas spirit. I'm giving him the Christmas spirit.
Well, I'll take Green Bay and Seattle, and I'll go Green Bay.
And you can, but don't have to give me a score.
Let's go 28-24.
All right. So those are in. I will try. Oh, the babies have made an appearance. I promise we'll get to your questions, but when the babies are dressed up, the teething babies are dressed up in.
We have both of them. Wow.
In plaid.
At the same time. I think I can see
Hi.
my own reflection.
I got one smiling. Hello.
They can't see you, Jason.
I know, it's sad.
But we
This is the
can,
first
and
time
it's
they're
funny.
dressed in the same thing. Can you guys tell who is who?
I can't
Nope.
anyway.
I'm not
So
even
this-
smart enough to say
this
one was pink.
This is Burrow, quote unquote, Kira, and this is Joe, also known as Declan.
I do love that stuck.
Yeah, I hate it, but it'd be what it'd be.
And it's an incredible season for him. And it's all due to your babies.
Literally, I think I would be the worst dad in the world because if I had twins, I would not be able to tell them apart. I don't know.
Yeah,
how you
I would definitely have to write it on their underwear or something so I knew.
It's easier because one's a boy and one's a girl, right? Like that makes it so much easier, but I don't want to have to check every time.
Yeah, 1,000% it makes it easy. I mean, these two look pretty similar considering they weren't identical. They still look a lot alike, but being around them every day helps too. Like it's a lot easier to tell them apart once you've been around them for a while.
Yeah, if it were me, one of them would certainly have a permanent Sharpie marker right here on the shoulder until they get a little older.
Oh, look, a natural birthmark.
Dustin kicked in and said, "Don't forget to like and subscribe." But I heard you, sir, you are driving, so don't be doing that. We need you to arrive alive. We do have your questions. Justin has put them in our private chat. For those that don't know, Dustin is a longtime Patreon and a good friend of Justin's, and a good friend of all of us, really. But he can't ask the questions because he's driving. So he shouldn't have even put this in. So.
But then he did still ask. He's a dangerous man.
And then we've got Bobby Ham saying ham forever. I guess. And then appearance from Dad on the show.
Hey, Coach.
Coach is saying Cowboys. So Coach, because I'm allowing teams to take their own this week, I'm going to say Coach.
The question.
He's answering which team he would take this week, I'm assuming.
No, look at the thing right above it. The question right above it.
Most disappointing team this season. Yeah, that's true. You know what? We could have a long and off season. We're going to have a long discussion, but we could have a long discussion of whether they were most disappointing. They did nothing in the free agency to get better. Their draft was just kind of okay. Anybody objective watching from the outside looking in would say they were going to be worse this year than they were in previous years. So I guess we didn't think it would be this far of a cliff, but when your quarterback injures himself pretty early on, it's bound to happen. You're starting a guy named Cooper Rush. Anyway, all right, we're going to get into some of these questions. We've got Brock Purdy ruined my season and possibly my life. It's pretty tough. Pick one to sit. Half point PPR. Jaden Reed, Devonta Smith, Xavier Worthy. Please and thank you. Justin, I'm going to let you go first. Are you worried after Jaden Reed's goose egg last week?
I'm not completely worried about it. As a matter of fact, I feel like that just means he's going to have a bounce back because you never know who the wide receiver is going to be there in Green Bay. And I mean, typically he has a bad game. He'll come back. He'll have a decent game. So I'm not completely worried about that one. Honestly, and Xavier Worthy has probably the better matchup of the three here, in my opinion. But he's also become more and more actively and consistently involved in that offense. But I can't bench Devonta Smith. Goddard's out again. So I think it definitely still comes down to those two. And because of the inconsistencies and not knowing which wide receiver it's going to be, I guess I would probably bench Reed here.
All right, we're benching Reed. David.
Yeah, Worthy's being more involved. Ooh, Devonta Smith. That's an interesting one because, I mean, they're going to try to run against the Steelers, and I'm not sure how well that'll work. It's an interesting strength versus strength there. But they're going to get A.J. Brown some touches today because, you know, he cried, and that's what happens. I'm probably sitting Reed as well, though.
All right, 2 for sitting Reed. Do you agree, Rich?
No, I do not agree. Because of the fact that Reed didn't get involved last week, he might not have complained about it and stuff like that, but he's the better receiver in this bunch and everything. So that's who I'm picking. I'm picking Reed with the bounce back game. I always like having to play someone that's had a bad week before. So if I'm able to survive Cup, man, I'm full go on Cup next week. So let's roll.
Did you just say Reed is the better receiver here? Because I'd argue Devonta Smith's the better receiver.
Well,
on his team.
Okay, so you're sitting Worthy, right?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't read questions. I just flow with it. So.
All right. So 2 for Reed, 1 for Worthy as far as who we're sitting, and Mark is staring at it, and so I think we're gonna get that face from him every time we mention Cooper Kupp. So. Let's try and keep that to a minimum. Go ahead, Mark.
As long as they keep winning, that's all that matters to me. For me, it's between Devontae and Worthy, which one I'm benching. I'm not benching Reed because Seattle's secondary is not good. And like Rich is talking about, he is the best receiver on their team. And I'm reading, and now my brain hurts. No. So, I'm starting Reed, and then this is tough because it should be Reed and Smith without a question. But the first part of his question kind of tips it a little for me. He got probably 1 or 2 points from Purdy on Thursday night. So he needs a home run. I don't see a home run play coming from Smith against the Steelers. So I'm going to go Reed and Worthy and just shoot for the fences here.
All right, so that does make it easy, though, because that means 2 people have benched Reed, 1 person benched Smith, and 1 person benched Purdy or Worthy. So that means Jaden Reed is getting the bench here. A few of the leagues, I'm in first round buys thanks to all of our answers. You're welcome there. I'm in some must-wins this week to get a lot of things. So glad I benched Kupp and Jennings. So he must have saw the weather.
I did not, unfortunately.
Let's see. Krana says Baker, Kyler, or Darnold 6-point passing touchdown. So I'm going to kick that off with Rich.
Let's see. We got Darnold plans against Chicago, Murray against New England, Baker against the Chargers. This kind of falls back to the question we were talking about earlier. To me, you have to roll with Darnold, in my opinion. I mean, Arizona, man, it's New England's defense can surprise you sometimes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm rolling Darnold.
All right, we got 1 for Darnold. Mark.
I'm going Kyler.
1 for Kyler.
I think he might run one in today.
All right.
Does that count as one he doesn't throw?
What's that?
Does that count for the one he doesn't throw?
For the one he doesn't throw? No, I think he'll get some through the air. It's New England. I get that they've been solid, but Arizona needs to win that game, so I expect their offense to come out strong.
All right, David.
You know who else needs to win their game is the Bucks, and I don't think they do. I honestly think the Chargers edge just went out. But despite the Chargers' defense, I kind of think it's a shootout, and that plays into Baker's hands. So I'm going to go with Baker.
All right. We got 2 for Darnold, 1 for. Oh, we got one. We got 1 across the board. Justin.
So, okay, I've had it down to starting Kyler or Baker here to me because that Darnold matchup against Chicago can surprise you for sure. But what I like about Kyler is that when he plays tougher defenses, he definitely does not do well for fantasy. But when he plays easier defenses, he plays really well for fantasy. And this is an easier defense, so I think I like the safe floor play here for the playoffs. I'm going to go with Kyler.
All right, 2 for Kyler. That's who gets it. And we can do the second part of that question. Darnold, Stroud, or Richardson, 6-point passing touchdown. Since Richardson's involved, I'm going to go ahead and start with Justin.
Darnold
For Justin. David.
Same.
2 for Darnold. Rich, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm going Darnold and stuff like that. I mean, I like Stroud too and stuff like that, but I think Darnold. I get all you guys. I'm going to go back to this last question. Okay, we're picking Baker and Kyler when Darnold has the better options at receiving and stuff like that. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, Baker was the number 1 quarterback for more than half the season.
Has also trended off because of his receiver options.
Yeah, he does have Mike Evans back now, though.
Yeah, and I don't know that he has trended off. Even the 3 weeks that he didn't have Mike Evans and he was facing top teams, they were in all of those games, and he did well in 2 of the 3, if I remember correctly.
He's had 2 touchdowns in most of his game. I think the real issue is Darnold's wide receivers have been on fire, and I think that's what Rich is alluding to there. Is that Addison has come on. You still have Justin Jefferson. Hawkinson is back. Like, I think
so. And Baker scored 25 against Chicago just a few weeks ago. That's not a bad game by any means. I just feel like Kyler and Baker are both going to outdo that pretty easily this week with their given matchups. It's just a tough matchup, and even in the tough matchups, he's been good. I do think that Darnold plays well. Don't get me wrong, but I just like the other 2 better. Just not against these other 2 in the second question. It was a no-brainer there.
All right. So you're on Darnold then for the second question, right, Rich? And then Mark.
I'm Darnold as well.
Okay, everybody on Darnold for the second question. So Kyler for the first question, 2 to 1 to 1, and then Darnold in the sweep on the second question. All right. Crane says, pick 1 PPR. Garrett Wilson, Mooney, Judy, or Thielen?
Jesus.
Now, hold on, guys. Can anybody sit Judy? Is anybody sitting Judy?
We're
The way
picking
he's
one
played.
out.
Yeah, I know. I get you.
We're
I don't
picking
know.
what, though?
You're picking 1.
Picking 1.
Right.
Tillman's out again. No Joker's out. Yeah. He's going to be peppered with targets again.
Oh, man, I don't know, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. Mooney and
Oh,
Wilson both have very juicy, nice, easy matchups.
All right, I'm going to go to the second question first. Is anybody willing to sit Jonnu Smith after the way he's been playing the last?
No.
I'm sorry. I don't want to. I can't just jump back and forth because I was really digging into that other question. I'm going to go with Wilson.
Okay.
And I'm the Judy guy. I'm the pro Judy guy. I have been all season, and even with the man on the other side, Tillman being out again. I'd never liked Judy as a true solid number one, and he's going up against the true solid number one DB. Wilson gets the second defenders, so I'm going to go with Wilson.
One for Wilson. David, did that? Oh, Mark, go ahead since you jumped in.
I'm going to go Thielen against Dallas. I mean, Bryce has looked good, better than good the past few weeks, and Thielen has just been getting peppered with just as many targets as the rest of them. So I think we might actually see a Carolina blowout this week, and I'm liking Thielen here.
All right, so we've got one for everybody but Mooney. David?
He's going Mooney.
Don't tell me you're going Mooney.
He's going Mooney. He wants it. I could tell when he first asked the question. That was the first guy he mentioned.
I do want Mooney, but I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. I hate the Jets. I think that they were overrated to begin the season, and I'm not surprised at how the season went. But the offense did wake up a little bit last week. He had his first 300-yard passing game in, I don't know, since forever. And Garrett Wilson's a big part of that offense, as far as targets go. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson.
All right, that's two for Garrett Wilson. Now, everybody on the Jonnu Smith train here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to say David ruined a very perfect opportunity for a fun board bet. We all had a different player on one question, and it could have been fun, but no, you had to ruin it.
Well, yeah, David hates fun. We all know that.
Hey, we're here to support the title tribe here. So I'm glad he went with Garrett Wilson.
All right, then final question. This one seems tough, and I see that Justin bowed out for it because he doesn't want to say Sutton. So Sutton or JSN? I'm gonna start with. I see Justin back there. He says 1 second. Okay, David, go ahead.
Man, I'm gonna go with Sutton.
All right, that's one for Sutton. Rich, two for Sutton. Mark.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Okay, and Jigba, and then Justin can either tie it up or say Sutton.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with JSN. Sorry, I have to watch my dogs or they get under the fence and get attacked, and then I have huge vet bills.
All right. I'm gonna say JSN as well. Say again.
I said, what is under that fence?
Wood chipper.
The world.
I'm gonna say JSN as well. He's been the wide receiver one over there for the last several weeks. Plays well every week. I'm gonna go JSN, which is anti what I normally do because I usually like Sutton in these situations. But JSN's just been too consistently good. All right, another Crana question. Pick one PPR. Charbonnet, Judy, or Myers? Rich.
Running back Charbonnet. If I remember correctly, Walker's been ruled out, right?
I hadn't seen, but he was trending that way. I don't know if have we seen officially that he's out.
I think he was at the very least doubtful. So
yeah, I saw doubtful was the last update that I saw. But I'm looking now. Yeah, still doubtful.
You don't see too many times doubtful turning into play.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we've got one for Charbonnet. Mark, you agree?
I agree.
Oh, Justin agrees.
100%.
And Mark agrees, and then David.
Man, I think I'm gonna go Myers.
Okay, so
I like it.
Three for
why though?
Targets, man. He's been the target hog, and it's not like the Falcons have a great defense. I don't expect the Raiders to win the game. I'm not going to lie there, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won the game either. The Falcons are on a downslide. Kirk Cousins has been playing like hot garbage, and the defense isn't great. So my only worry in the matchup is who's quarterback.
Okay, I just want to throw this out there real quick, just for a little insight too. So Charbonnet had a great game last week without Walker in. And I will say this, I'm pretty sure not majority of you guys watched the Raiders game and stuff like that. As consistent has he been, it was very dicey last week to where he got to what he got. So I'm gonna just throw that at the option, just kind of watching the game truly and stuff like that. It was truly a struggle for him to get there last week. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen this week against the Falcons and everything, but I just want to throw that out there, a little claimer.
Hey, here's my big difference with that too is Charbonnet last week was facing Arizona, who's the 18th team against the run, and now this week they're facing Green Bay, who's the 9th team against the run. So I don't know if Charbonnet is going to come out and do as much as he did last week.
I just want to throw something out there and give Rich some props. Last week, mentioning Sincere McCormick, even with Abdullah still playing, he told everybody here, look out for McCormick and play him over Abdullah. And now he's your new starting running back for the Raiders.
I actually picked him up in a league this week.
I picked him up last week.
This week too, and Sincere is going to get the bulk load of the carries.
Yeah, I had a league where I was in trouble at running back, and I was having to start Abdullah. But after his comment, I dropped Abdullah and picked up McCormick before the games, and worked out.
See, I didn't have any of that. I had a league, and I'm still debating it even as we speak whether I should start Chubb or not. I think my starter was Saquon, and I have to start two. And Chubb has just been kind of not being used, and they've been going with Ford more. And it has me a little worried about putting Chubb in for a playoff match. And I saw McCormick on the wire, and I was like, screw it, let's go.
Yes, Cleveland's offensive line is a mess, and they're not able to run the ball. So they're just settling with Jameis Winston throwing pick sixes instead.
All right, we got the second half of this question to answer. I'm going to start with Rich. Shakir, McConkey, Hopkins, or B-Rob?
You're muted.
It's damn it.
Why does somebody have to ruin it every time?
I wanted to see how far that would go.
David, I owe you so much, big time.
You were the points you were making.
Hey,
fantastic.
And yeah, you were 100% right, shaking your head, Justin, because I was like, yeah, see, I got Justin approving my decision here. Woo!
Yeah, see, David is the kid that you never got involved with the pranks because he would always cave.
Listen, that's hilarious because my daughter tries to prank people at the house all the time, and she's like, just go along with it. And she's like, you're not gonna because you have that face. And I'm like, what face? And she's like, you got that face. And I'm like, I do have that face.
That face.
And meanwhile, I'm the one that's teaching my students how to get away with the whole thing with the other teachers.
All right, Rich, you want to give that knowledge one more time?
Yeah. So it's very easy knowledge. It's Brian Robinson, running back. McConkey sat out last week and stuff. He is expected to play this week. He would be my second decision, but it's Brian Robinson for me.
All right, Justin.
So I've been looking at this one for a while because I didn't really answer the last one other than a thumbs up. So I've had time, and I've got it narrowed down to 4 here. Really like the options here, Krana. But I'm going to go with Shakir. I think that's going to be another blowout game. They're going to need to throw the ball a lot. The PPR adds a little bump there too. I honestly had it down to Shakir or Brian Robinson because I'm usually a running back first guy. Ty goes to the running back, and but in this particular case, I think there's going to be enough PPR points for Shakir that it's going to kind of overthrow what I feel about Ty goes to the running back, and it's probably a little bit more than just a tie. So I'm gonna lean Shakir.
Didn't you pick the Lions today?
So wait.
Yeah, and I also said it was going to be like 34-30. So there's going to be some points.
That doesn't sound like a blowout to me.
That's what I was just going to ask.
No,
that's a shootout.
I meant to say shootout.
Yeah,
I meant to say shootout.
Because I heard blowout. I'm going with you. I
like Shakir,
and I think it's going to be a shootout. But then you said blowout, and I was like, wait, who's blowing who out? I actually think Buffalo is going to win that game, and that's why I'm going Shakir, because they're going to have to put up points.
Okay, so real quick.
Nobody's blowing out anybody.
Coleman's back. tight ends back. Shakir plays better against man, and he's worse against man, and Lions play great against man. So this is going to be a bigger game for Amari Cooper more than anything. If I'm just throwing it out there, that's the only reason why I like Shakir. He's one of my higher things and stuff like that, but he does not play. He struggles worse against man.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. You listed off a bunch of players that don't mean crap to me on this team, but then also the Lions, sure, maybe they do better in man, but they also suck in man. So Shakir, like maybe Shakir does worse in man coverage, but it's the Lions. That secondary is the sixth worst in the league. So, and if it's going to be a blowout, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Shakir's going to get his. What did I call it? Did I say blowout again?
And blowout.
Shootout. Hey, at least I did some research to find out who was out this week, because last week was pretty embarrassing.
All right, David, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to tie it up. No Eckler there. Nobody really to take away the touches. My only, and I mean the game script should go towards Robinson because they should have a blowout.
All right, so you went with Robinson. That's unfortunate because I was going to jump in and say I can't believe you guys didn't pick McConkey against the Buccaneers, 31st ranked pass defense.
My only worry with McConkey is because they're saying he'll probably play, but it's not a guarantee, and he's coming back off an injury, and those always worry me. So that's why I want to be Rob.
So I'm going to say Shakir in that game. I think there's going to be more scoring in that game. I think he has an opportunity for a lot of points. So I'm taking Shakir of the two to break the tie, but I would have taken McConkey had that been the tie. So, but it is what it is. We answered that one. Now we can do 1 point PPR. And listen, I feel good about all of these questions from Crana because that means all the answers we've given over the years is put them in the play. This is a playoff fool with as many leagues as he has, and I feel like we've helped him get there. So that makes me feel good. So we've got DJM, MHJ, or BTJ. Pick one. PPR, David.
Is DJM DJ Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why, but DeJounte Murray is the first name that popped into my head when I saw DJM, and I was like, that can't be it.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a basketball player, I believe.
Oh. That's why I don't know.
I think I'm going to go DJ Moore.
And, of course, the DJ Moore stan would say DJ Moore. And then
Yep.
Mark.
I said I made a rule last week that I'm not taking Bears anywhere anymore, so I'm going Marvin Harrison.
All right, and then Rich.
I'm going Moore too.
All right, 3 for Moore, 1 for Harrison. PPR, pick one. Pollard, and that's one we have to monitor because he was out. Did he practice Friday? I don't think he did.
He is in, from what I read on Sleeper earlier.
Okay. All right, so Pollard, Pacheco, Brees. Starting with Mark.
So it sounds like Brees is expected to suit up after fully practicing on Friday. If he's playing, I'm going Brees.
All right. Rich.
Man, I have Brees everywhere, and I'm worried about playing him this week. I'm actually going to roll with Pacheco on this one.
All right, 1 for Brees, 1 for Pacheco. David?
Man, so Brees and Pollard, they got some real nice, easy matchups versus those defenses. I'm going to go Brees.
2 for Brees, 1 for Pacheco. Mark.
I already won.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Brees. I hate the injury issue, but on a points per game basis, Brees has been a bit of a disappointment this season. Obviously, because you took him early first round, and now he's playing as a mid to low end RB2. But even with those numbers, he still has better points per game average than the other two, and that's taking away their injured games. Brees does have the better matchup of the three, and I think this is a game where the Jets are actually going to have some offense against the Jaguars. So it should be Brees pretty handedly in this one, especially in PPR.
All right, and we're going to stay right there with Justin for B-Rob Jr. or Bucky.
So we know for sure that Bucky is in.
They said the last thing I read. Here's what I can read you from my team from CBS.
Actually,
Irving.
never mind. I don't really care. It's Brian Robinson Jr.
Okay. He's expected to suit up and be the lead back.
Yeah,
So,
it's Brian Robinson Jr. for me.
Rich.
Yeah, Brian Robinson Jr.
David.
Brian Robinson Jr.
Mark.
Ditto. I do want to ask, are we nervous about Brees this week after Braylon Allen's legacy game last week?
I was waiting for someone to say that. So yes, I am worried about Brandon Allen's legacy game and Davis's legacy game.
I know Davis had the legacy game, right?
That's the one I missed. That's the one thing I hate. And look, this is fantasy football. We're not always going to be correct and stuff like that. But when you have a running back that has taken a lot of shares from the starter, and when that starter goes out, you're expecting that running back to get a majority of it. But just don't get this Davis kid, man. Prove me. I mean, he looked good.
Yeah, he did.
I was shocked on it and stuff like that. And the whole time, every time I saw him, I go, "Yeah, there's my legacy game."
Isaiah Davis legacy game today.
All right. Swift, Bigsby, or McCormick? Rich.
You guys want me to say McCormick? I know you do. And guess what? I am saying McCormick because they're going to be behind. And he did catch some balls and everything, so I do like McCormick. With Bigsby, I like Bigsby too, but ETN is still involved in the game and stuff like that. And man, Swift is just I don't know, man. I'm just disappointed in him this year. He's been consistent. He's been all right and stuff like that, but just not what I expected.
All right. David?
I think I'm going to go McCormick too. And the reasoning is, I mean, this is the end of the season. The Raiders don't really have a whole lot to play for, right? But they have 42 probably of their 44 starting jobs open. Everybody between besides Max Crosby and Brock Bowers, their jobs are all at risk. So why not see what you have in a young guy and, give him some carries, see what he can do. I'd be testing all of these youngins out.
Okay. Mark.
Well, Swift plays for the Bears, so he's out. So Bigsby or McCormick? I do really like what I saw out of McCormick last week, and like David kind of mentioned there, I think they're going to try to really feed him the rock and see what he can handle. So I like his potential this week against Atlanta, I think, right? Yeah.
Okay,
Plus,
so
can you imagine how happy you are if McCormick wins you your fantasy playoff round 1 matchup on Monday Night Football? Come on now.
Right.
you'd be sincerely excited.
Yes.
Justin?
Yeah, you took my joke. I was going to say I sincerely want to go with McCormick here. So you win.
I did win. I always win. All right.
Apparently, I can't ask any of my questions for my leagues to Simon or Mark here this week.
Why is
Because
that?
they're
They all involve DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah. He's out. And Jason, I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed after last week when you were gone. I was expecting like a lot of rules today on what we could and couldn't do, and you let me down.
Well, it's Christmas season. I'm giving you guys the gift of less rules.
We appreciate it.
I mean, look, I could make the rule that anytime a DJ Moore question comes up, Mark has to say DJ Moore.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that would
But-
be.
My question's real easy, I guess, but
I mean, we already have somebody who apparently has that rule because Justin is just about that guy. You had your finger up, Justin. Were you just coughing, or
he does it today?
No, I had a question, or I have a comment actually. If we're going to be talking about DJ Moore, I have another DJ that I want to talk about. His name is DJ Bone or DJ Hambone. Wow, I almost said that one backward. That would have been bad. DJ Hambone is a up and coming DJ in our area that's playing a lot of weddings and receptions right now. And other parties as well. So if you live in Indiana or in Western Ohio or Northern Kentucky, reach out to me at JustinFF_ or at Toyless Titles. Let me know that you have an upcoming event that you would like him to come in and DJ for. He's got state-of-the-art equipment. And he also has donated a lot of equipment to us here at Toyless Titles for my new up-and-coming studio, if that ever takes place. Just still waiting on the last kid to move out. But once we get that studio up and going, he has donated a lot of supplies for us as well to help get this our podcast to the next level. So we'd like to share the love. That's the name of his DJ company is Howlin' at the Moon. So again, that's DJ Hambone.
Really?
And
You're not going to give us a howl to the moon?
No, that's his job. He would
That's
he would have to pay me more for this spot.
we got Bobby Ham's favorite. DJ Cohen. So DJ Hambone. It's not DJ Bacon. All right, we got another question here from Crana as part of this one. And then Justin, I went ahead and took Dustin's questions and posted them in the comments down below, so we can actually put them up on the screen. So I've moved them over so we can get to them. Flex 1 PPR, Devonta, Ramondre, or Downs. Since Downs is involved, I'm going to go ahead and pick Justin first.
Ramondre, actually love this matchup for him, and he's the running back in this group, and I don't think it's a tie even without him being a running back. Give me Ramondre.
All right, Ramondre. David?
Yeah, same.
And Mark?
Yep.
And Rich is nodding too, so looks like Ramondre. Last question on this one. Neighbors, Thielen, or Mooney in a PPR? I think David's going to say Mooney because he picked him over Thielen earlier. So now it's just Neighbors with cutlets going.
I didn't pick Mooney in that other question. It made him mad. I picked Garrett Wilson.
Oh,
What
that's
you
true.
Thinking about?
You were desperate
Oh,
for
no,
Mooney though.
So you weren't thinking Thielen.
No, but I like Neighbors' matchup this week. I mean, I don't think that the Giants, win, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to see the Ravens lose. But I mean, Neighbors is that offense. He's everything they got, and they keep on, funneling him these targets. And the Ravens' defense has been terrible against the pass. So I think I'm going to go Neighbors.
All right. With Tommy DeVito throwing him the ball, Mark, do you agree?
No, I picked Thielen earlier, and Neighbors doesn't change that question at all for me. It's still Thielen.
All right, one for Thielen, one for Neighbors. Justin?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Neighbors, but I am still scared about it. I also chose Neighbors earlier, and the deeper we get into the show, the more I regret that. But I'm going to stick with Neighbors. The problem I have here is Neighbors does have a really good matchup against the Ravens, but I'm more concerned about them becoming one-dimensional. If they can't get the game going on the ground against the Ravens, then they're going to be a one-dimensional team. They're going to be able to get the cutlets and tear him up. Like I feel really bad for that entire organization. Well, not the organization. That's their own fault. I feel bad for their fan base, but also that's kind of your fault too. You should have jumped ship a long time ago. I'm going to go with Neighbors though.
All right, 2 for neighbors. Trash talking the Giants and then going with their player. Rich.
It's real close for me between Thielen and Neighbors, but to keep the flow of the show, I'm gonna go with Neighbors.
All right, 3 for neighbors, 1 for Thielen. And Tua, Herbert, or Goff, 6-point passing touchdown. Mark.
It's not Goff. Tua or Herbert. And I'm gonna go Herbert.
All right, Herbert against the Bucks. Rich.
I'm actually going to Golf. Yeah, I'm going Golf. This the highest scoring over and under of the week, man. I'm all for it.
I agree. I mean, the reason I didn't go Goff was I just think Buffalo's rush defense is the worst part of their defense.
It kind of brings me back to the Buffalo Bills Rams game and stuff like that. Everybody wanted to go Bills and stuff like that, and they weren't sure. I mean, they weren't sure about Stafford, but look what Stafford did against them and everything. I think Golf could do the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, Justin.
I think it's going to be the running backs that get heavily involved in that Detroit and Bills game for the Lions. I think we're going to see the ground game be the reason that they score a lot of points. So that's the reason I'm kind of off on Goff just a little bit. Man, I still really think that Tua is going to tear it up. Justin Herbert is just not quite consistent enough for me, but that matchup is delicious. But I'm going to go with Tua.
All right, we got it 3-way split. So, David, break the tie.
Lovely. I'm going to go with Herbert.
All right, Herbert, it is 2-1 to 1. Herbert against the Bucks. We've got neighbor Shakir Addison. Let's see. I haven't started with Mark in a while, so Mark can go first.
I like Shakir here.
All right, Shakir, and Justin gives a thumbs up. Now here's where we break that up. David.
Yeah, I'm going to go Addison.
1 for Addison. Rich.
It ain't gonna matter what I say, so I'm going with Neighbors here.
Okay. So, I mean, if you had said Addison, it would have mattered. I'd have to break a tie. That's
I like
okay.
Neighbors. I like Neighbors over Addison for this week and everything.
All right.
All 3 great options. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm just a little bit lower on Shakir this week based off my reasonings earlier.
And then now we need 2 of these guys. Kamara, Charbonnet, Myers. I'm going to start down with the guy who wants to pick Myers. I know he does. Rich.
Charbonnet for me.
You got to pick 2, though.
Like I said, I don't read.
I know, but I literally just said it, so you didn't have to read. I don't read or listen.
This is like you don't read or listen.
Look, I'm benching Myers in this one.
All right, that's Kamara and Charbonnet, David. I got a thumbs up from Mark there, so that's 2. David.
It's Kamara and Myers for me.
Kamara and Myers. Okay, and then Justin.
Man, I did so. If you have Myers, if you listened to Rich early enough in the season, you were looking forward to this match. All this entire stretch that Myers has been good since Adams has been gone, and then now we've been blessed with Ritter at the helm. Like most likely, I don't know if it's definite yet or not, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Ritter, and that's just so ugly. Like you never know with these backup guys, these third string guys, when they come in, they start throwing the ball to little Jimmy Nuggets that was a practice squad guy last week. Like you never know. Man,
I knew that little Jimmy Nuggets T-shirt.
I'm gonna bench Myers.
All right, so it is.
We know Ritter's not going to be able to throw to anybody, so
so it looks like Charbonnet and Kamara takes the day here. But
I will say this: if Ritter does play and stuff like that, we're actually looking at the wrong M player for this team. I think Mayer might have a better game than Myers and stuff like that with drop-offs and everything. So even with Brock Bowers and stuff like that, Mayer, like I said, Mayer coming back and everything steadily has been kind of getting a little bit better and everything. And he's one of those players that can kind of help Ritter out. So
yeah, he could be his little Jimmy Nuggets.
I mean, he's probably right because Mayer will most likely be blocking behind the line of scrimmage and Ritter past the line of scrimmage. So it could help.
Come on. It is a revenge game narrative, guys. Revenge game.
Yeah, I actually, in one of our questions coming up with Dustin, I've suggested that I would probably go with Ritter in the Superflex because of that, but he also didn't have these kind of options.
Right. All right. Darnold, Tua, or Stroud? Feel like we had. I think
We had something
Krana's
similar, but it was
Krana's two questions were mixed with this. So, raise your hand for Darnold. That's 3. Justin, who you got?
Yeah, I'd probably go Darnold. I had to think about it.
He wanted to raise his hand. He wanted the spotlight. He wanted to say something.
No, I had to think about it. Come on now.
No, I'm just.
These people's playoff hopes are possibly hinging on what we tell them. We need to take a little bit of time sometimes to consider it if it's not an obvious thing. I took that pause for Jimmy. That was for you, Jimmy.
What I guarantee you the next question I ask Rich, because he's not listening and he's not reading, he's going to give us an answer that's not even on the board. Oh man! All right, Rich, Connor, Najee or Ramondre? Bucky Irving.
Braylon Allen legacy game.
now, with all that being said and everything, I never say the wrong players that ain't on the thing. So
that's true. It is true.
I at least got the names in front of me. I just don't read the other words that are in the sentence. I am going to go with James Conner. Oh,
all right.
Like I said, I don't read the other words. Oh, Jesus. I'm benching Najee.
For the viewers watching, they would almost think it's a stick, like he's doing this intentionally. It's not. It's not.
David, he's benching Najee. Do you need a duel?
I don't know what I need from that. Like, man, last week I was like, man, Pickens is out. We're screwed. And they look just as good. Now we're facing the Eagles, which is a much better defense. I don't have the faith in the Najee. I'm going to bench him as well.
All right, Mark.
I think you got to bench Najee, but he has recently impressed in some spots, where he didn't really have that great of a matchup. Against Baltimore, he had 13 points. I mean, I don't know. I'm still benching Najee, but I think I do trust him a little more than David does, which is kind of surprising.
Okay, so raise your hand if you're benching Najee.
I did not need Justin, a second that time.
Justin doesn't know how to raise his hand. All right.
See, Jimmy, Justin did not take a second for you there.
I
didn't need to. That one was obvious.
I'll defend Justin on that one. You guys talked a lot. Krana says 2 more questions actually. B-Rob Jr. or Dowdle?
It's B-Rob
Justin.
and here.
I think it's B-Rob Jr. here. I do like the usage increase for Dowdle, and I like that he's been tearing it up a lot more here lately. But I mean, even if he hits 15 again, right in that area, that's about what he's been averaging the last 3 weeks. I still think that Brian Robinson Jr. tears that up. Dowdle has the better matchup. Don't get me wrong, but they might play some backups in that game. Maybe old Zeke Elliott gets back out there again. Who knows?
All right. So, and then I know David said B-Rob there. So, Rich, thumbs up, thumbs
Yeah,
up. All right.
I feel like Dowdle should have had his legacy game against the Bengals because their defense is terrible.
Let's get this
And
straight. The only person who has a legacy game is Chase Brown. That's been
you guys realize that legacy games come around like once every few years. Not every single week do we have a legacy game, right? Like this is a shtick, right? I'm being punked.
You are.
Okay,
and then
all right.
is anybody benching Monty here? Raise
No.
your hand if you don't want Monty.
I want to know who else he has that he can't start both of them.
Yeah, I'm with you, but
It's Monty if you have to.
okay. Also, guys, 100%. You don't need any time for this. Njoku or Ertz? Raise your hand if you want Ertz. Njoku's not playing.
Yeah,
So
it's out.
Jimmy, that one's
Wait, he's
easy.
not playing because he's listed as questionable on everything I looked at.
I mean, the
I
report
thought-
that I read last night said that he wasn't going to play. So maybe
Yeah,
they
on
just haven't
ESPN right
made it
now they
official
have him
yet.
as questionable still.
Game time decision is what his news thing says.
Oh, all week they've been saying he's out.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, even if he's in, I'm still going with Ertz. So
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird. It's weird to hear he's out all week, and then they're like, just kidding.
So he hasn't practiced all week, and it says that the lack of practice all week makes this a game time call. But he hasn't been listed out yet, and he's not even doubtful. He's questionable.
All right, still going Ertz. Keenan Allen. So that's a no from Mark. Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins. Justin.
Man, this one is tough, but I think I'm gonna bench Cooper out of these three. I'm gonna try to find a spot for him, but out of these three, D Hop has become the kind of the go-to guy for Mahomes in that offense. I think 3 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. Keenan Allen has 2 20-plus point fantasy games in 2 of the last 3 weeks, so he's been getting more usage lately. So. Again, matchup-wise, I do like Cooper's opportunity today, but he's going to be the odd man out for me.
All right. Rich, take 2.
Okay, I did hear that. And I am benching D-Hop.
All right, bench and D-Hop. David? Since you're chewing.
I'm going to bench Keenan Allen.
All right. We're all benching somebody different. Mark?
I mean, Keenan Allen plays for the Bears. Pretty easy.
I don't care if he does get me 20 points today. I'm benching him.
Yeah, it's a rule.
All right. Jimmy asks.
Heroes.
Jimmy asks, thoughts on that linebacker that quit on the 49ers mid-game? Do we pass judgment without hearing a side?
Yes, we do.
Yes, you're a professional football player.
Yeah, this is your job, and you're getting paid more than firefighters, nurses, teachers, etc. All the people who make this country run. You do your damn job.
Justin, you had your finger up.
Yeah, so I'm the type of person that believes that everybody's thoughts should be heard and everybody should have an opportunity to give their side, but I'm still judging him before I hear it, and I'm not going to care what he says as he says it, but he should be allowed to say it.
Yeah, unless it's like that movie. Unless it's like that movie from the 90s, Speed, where somebody's going to blow up the bus if it goes below a certain speed. So if he doesn't quit the game, they're going to blow up the stadium. He has no excuse for not playing.
Even in that scenario, you find a way to play and still defuse the bomb, David. Come on.
Well, only if Keanu Reeves is
Right.
out on the field with you to save the day.
So I have to admit, I didn't watch it.
49ers are soft and they can't hang with the Rams. So, yeah, quit. Bye-bye.
Did he? He didn't have like an injury that was undisclosed or anything, right? Like they came out and said, I don't know. Like, did they say?
I mean, the
Maybe
coach pretty much just said no. He quit.
No, so he was. I think he was pissed off because what's the linebacker that came back last week?
DeAndre or shoot.
Greg Greenlaw or
Greenlaw, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was starting in place of Greenlaw, and I think like he got demoted to reserve for Greenlaw, and then they asked him to go in when Greenlaw needed a break, and he was like, "No, I don't want to play." I think it was a little hurt feelings, and just being a baby.
We could also talk about why.
So you're losing your spot back to a guy that was already one of the top linebackers in the league before he got hurt. And yes, you played really well. You did a great job. But this guy's still better than you, and now he's healthy and ready to play, and we're fighting for a playoff spot. So, and Devondre Campbell was the name of the guy that actually will quit on the team. That's what I was getting that mixed up earlier. So.
I do like David's like, well, they get paid more than teachers and blah, 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 blah. Look, I think all those guys should get paid more. They don't have millions of people watching them every day, so it's hard to pay those guys more. The complaints about government spending would go through the roof if all of a sudden teachers were making millions.
If you guys,
I don't think they should be making millions. Don't get me wrong, but I think that they shouldn't. There shouldn't be teachers struggling to make ends meet. There shouldn't be nurses who, have to work extra shifts just to be able to get by and pay the bills, while NFL players are making enormous sums of money.
Then tune in to watch teachers do their job. If you tune in to watch these nurses do their job and they started getting ratings like crazy, then they would start getting paid more to do their jobs. I think you can now on social medias.
Probably, although maybe not at hospitals. There might be some kind of,
Yeah, you're not supposed to. They don't let you record anything in a hospital. That way, when they screw up, there's no video proof of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Our audience is fighting for their playoff lives, and we're talking about their pay scales. Come on, guys.
Let's see. I mean, we got like 40 some odd minutes to get to the questions. We got time to go over some stuff. We can solve all this nation's problems. We got some time here. Bobby says, Denver's DSC helped me get into the playoffs, but I don't know about the playoff matchups. Should I continue to hold them or add Arizona or drop the Eagles instead? Well, that's a lot. Well, so one of the questions I was going to have earlier is, are the Commanders out there? Go get the Commanders for this week.
Yeah, and don't drop. I don't see a problem with Denver this week. Aren't they playing the Colts?
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I'd be willing.
This week
I
would keep them.
I feel like Robert's been trying to drop Denver every week on the show. Like there's been
but they still keep doing good.
Yeah, so keep playing them.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you just play it week to week. Like, I know it seems scary. Like, here's the thing. Playing your defense, streaming defense week to week has gotten you into the playoffs. All too often we see it that now that you're in the playoffs, suddenly you think you have to change your strategy. Suddenly you think you have to plan for the next 3 or 4 weeks, where you probably should have already been doing that before, where you're only planning for 1 or 2 weeks ahead. Now the playoffs are only a couple of weeks. Like, don't change your strategy up. Play it week to week. You're playing Denver this week against the Colts. You're going to get decent scores, and then worry about next week. I'm not going to. You said something about dropping the Eagles to pick up the Cardinals. Sure, but why not drop the Eagles to pick up a backup running back so that whenever that starting running back potentially gets hurt, you have another starting running back to choose from next week? That's who I'm dropping the Eagles for, not another defense. I'm not keeping 2 defenses. Unless the Denver defense has a bad matchup next week and then a good matchup the following week, then I might keep 2 defenses. But so that's, I would keep Denver. I would play Denver. I would drop the Eagles, go pick up McCormick or the Trey Benson or somebody like that, where if the starter gets hurt, now you've got a starting running back for next week that you don't have to spend any fab on or fight for.
And keep in mind, the Falcons next week play the Giants. They're probably not going to be picked up and played today. They'll be out there to take next week if you need a defense. So, like, that's
Rich is tired of talking defense.
Let's see. Good morning, guys. Bucky, Brees, or Dowdle running back PPR. Have Kamara at running back 1.
Brees.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
David?
Man, I don't know. I like Bucky a lot. I'm gonna go with Bucky.
Injury scares me though. I mean,
Brees is coming back from an injury too.
yeah, but the Buccaneers also have White, who can easily step in and take the majority of the work, where I don't think Brees does.
Even with that legacy game last week from
I know,
Allen.
right?
They even have Sean Tucker, who, when given an opportunity, looks pretty good. That's the other thing. They
Hey,
don't
man,
like to
Sean
give him
Tucker.
opportunity for some reason.
Sean Tucker got me 34 points last week.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
He got 34 points.
Only for me in the Powers League, where I was able to time travel his points from the week that he actually did get 34.
Oh,
right,
yeah, okay.
Let's make sure we're saying that kind of stuff now. Come on.
I was going to say he had a 34-yard run, which is what was confusing me. But, all right.
David plays
Rich.
in a league where they get a point per yard.
Rich?
Yeah, all three. I'm gonna roll Breeze. I saw Bucky on the sidelines last week in that game and everything, and I don't want to see that again this week if I had him on there. So,
You know, it's so funny because when you compare like the beginning of the season to now, this wouldn't have been a question. It would have been Brees for all of us. Everybody would have been like, "Who the heck is Bucky Irving?" Like,
it's funny we say this every year for somebody.
Well, let's see. Okay. Dustin says, morning, fellas. Moving today. Hopefully Justin was able to ask my questions. They're down below. They're coming up, Dustin. So wide receiver 3, Westbrook Akina, Dubs, or Pittman? And that'll start with Justin.
Yeah, probably should do everybody else first because I already gave them my answer. I think you would probably want to know their opinions before they hear mine.
Okay, well then, Rich.
It's a lot of words. Hold on, I gotta catch the main ones.
NWI, Dubs, or Pittman? 1.
NWI is IKEA.
Man, man, I don't like any three of these. I'm gonna go Pittman.
Oh wait, hold on. Or would you play Ritter or Cutlets over any of those receivers as a super flex?
well, yeah. So what he's
Okay,
saying,
hold on.
he
This
needs
is
a
no.
WR3,
No,
and
that's
then
not
he
it.
also has a super flex spot.
Yes, there you go. That's
Okay.
yeah. He needs the wide receiver 3 first.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Well
That's
then,
why I had it broken down differently.
what did you have, Rich?
To answer this whole thing, and it's a lot of words, Pittman and Ritter.
Pittman and Ritter. David.
Same.
Mark.
No. I have Pittman and Cutlets.
You're damn right you do. Pittman and Cutlets. Do not start Ritter if you want to win.
That
Do not
New York
put Ritter in
accent.
your lineup.
Yeah,
Please
damn
do not-
right you do.
Please do not put Ritter in your lineup.
All right, Justin.
All right, I told him IKEA because my thinking here is Pittman doesn't have a great matchup. He doesn't have a great quarterback. He hasn't done great all year. I'm not going to trust him in my playoffs. So I went with IKEA. He's been tearing it up. He's been getting touchdowns. They've even been trying to find ways to get him more targets lately. So I'm going to get IKEA in my lineup as my wide receiver 3. And then for my super flex, if Ritter ends up getting the start, I'm going to go with Ritter. He has, I know Cutlets has he's got Neighbors. After that, he doesn't have much of anything. And if they can't get the ball going on the ground with Tracy, which I don't think they will, then with that one-dimensional team, they're going to tear into him. He's going to have several turnovers. They're going to finally make the NFL realize that dude shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, I was about to say, if Ritter does play board bet, he outproduces Cutlets.
Yeah,
I'll take
definitely.
I'll take that.
I'm on the Ritter side.
Yeah. I would take anybody over Ritter.
So let me ask you guys
Take
this
anybody
question.
over Cutlets.
Wait, so when is the Ravens game?
1:00.
I've got 1:00. Okay, because the Ritter game is Monday night, and you're not sure he's playing.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna just because I have to break the tie between Ritter and Cutlets. I'm gonna say Cutlets, and it's only because I can't trust that it's gonna be Ritter and not Aiden O'Connell because they haven't said yet. And O'Connell had been trending towards wanting to play. He came out and said he'd be okay to play, and so you don't have another option here that you can pivot to on Monday night.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
that's
with that
fair.
logic, I agree with you and stuff like
That's
that.
fair.
I will say that, yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that too. So great point there. So
Yeah, you
Um,
got to, I guess.
So breaking the tie, it's going to be Cutlets and Pittman for us.
but still board bet.
I got it on there.
So Ben Schuler says Brees Hall or Tony Pollard.
Brees Hall.
Anybody going Pollard? Yeah, nobody's going Pollard. Brees Hall. For the record, I'll board bet. I'd take Tony Pollard.
Okay.
But that's 4-1.
I'll
so
take Brees. Yeah.
Sure.
that's 4-1 there. Brees, Aaron Jones, Hubbard. Okay, we're sitting one. Brees, Aaron
Pollard.
Jones, Hubbard, or Pollard. Pick 3.
Sit Pollard.
Yes.
2 sitting Pollard, 3 sitting Pollard. Justin.
So I was typing up the board bet.
Sit 1.
Yeah, I'd sit Pollard.
All right. You should not be typing this much while driving, Dustin. Separate league, Janu or McBride, standard scoring. Oh, see, so he went ahead and typed his questions.
Yeah, he still typed them all. I told him I was going to.
All right, Janu or McBride, in a standard league. So that means scoring's at a premium.
Then you got to go Janu there. McBride has he even scored a touchdown yet?
Has not. He has had a non-receiving. I think he's had 2 touchdowns. I think he had a rushing touchdown, and I think he dove on a fumble. I think he's had 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I mean, at that point, standard scoring, you got to go Janu. I mean,
All
it was
right, well-
close even with PPR, in my opinion, but just because of usage. But I think with the standard scoring, it's leaning more Janu than McBride, which is weird.
All right, Janu, Rich,
McBride, easy for me.
tied up. Justin,
Yeah, that's what I told him, Janu. It's pretty easy too.
2 Janu, 1 McBride.
I'm
Mark.
gonna go McBride as well. Even without the touchdowns, he's had 133 yards, 96 yards. You know, I still like McBride here.
Ooh, I get to break a tie. I'm gonna take McBride, and I hope he gets a touchdown this week to silence all the haters. Nobody really actually hates him. So, standard scoring: Rashad White, Tracy, or Mooney at flex. I'm starting with David.
Mooney.
There's his first Mooney of the day. Mark.
Yeah, not knowing about Bucky, how truly healthy he is, I'm gonna go Mooney.
2 for Mooney. Rich.
I'm going White.
All right. 2 Mooney, 1 White. Justin.
So I think I told him Rashad White earlier, but that was before I found out that Bucky is leaning more towards playing, even with the injury. If he comes in, he plays at all, I think it takes away just enough to break that tie for me. I'd probably go with Mooney on this one. I still don't think that Tracy gets anything going for the Giants.
All right. 3 for Mooney there, 1 for White. And then said congratulations on Toys to Tut. So thank you for that, Dustin. I appreciate that. And then again, reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe. Joe says he made the playoffs in 4 out of 5 leagues. What happened in the 5th one, huh, Joe? What happened?
He
Loser.
didn't ask this question.
He is about to get knocked out of the playoffs in the staff league because he's going against me.
We don't talk about
Let's see.
that league.
Oh,
So
we
more
about that.
more disappointing team this year, Cowboys, Jets, or Niners. This has to be the Jets, right?
No. The Jets were overblown. That was all media.
But you're right. But like, so
It's
the
not
Cowboys.
disappointing if you actually knew who the Jets were. Like,
think
did we really think Aaron Rodgers was going to lead that Jets team to the Super Bowl when he signed?
It's not even about the Super. It's not about the Super Bowl. About the playoffs being halfway decent. About not getting the coach fired. About not having the GM fired. Trading for Devontae Adams in the middle of the season and it meaning nothing. Like, you want to talk about a team that like has disappointed the fans over and over and over again throughout this season, and blaming everybody but the person who actually deserves the blame. The Jets, to me, have to be the most disappointing team this year.
I think
just have to.
Before the season started, majority of the people would have considered the Niners as a lock for the Super Bowl this year to go back and possibly face the Chiefs. I just think they are by far, with all those injuries, by far the most disappointing team.
See, but here's
the injury. Oh, hey, Njoku is officially inactive. I can't attribute the Niners' injuries to them being disappointed. Like, that's a legitimate, okay, they got injured, all their stars are out, blah, 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 they're injured. The Cowboys look like hot garbage even when they had Dak and their full complement of people. And they were another team that was considered, hey, we're going to the playoffs. Maybe not the Super Bowl, but we're going to the playoffs.
But
I didn't
kind of like
their offseason was terrible, but most people would have had them as a lock for a playoff team. I think they're the most disappointing.
I don't know. You fired the coach and the GM mid-season. That's got to be the most disappointing. Justin, you haven't weighed in yet.
I just think that we're trying to pick out the clean end of the turd. But for me personally, I think for me, I do think that the Jets are the biggest disappointment because for me, last season, going into last season when Rodgers was still not coming off of an Achilles, I did think that this was a playoff team because I looked at this organization, the Jets, that have I agree with you, everything you said about the Jets consistently letting everybody down, but it looked like they were actually trying. And even now, they're actually trying by bringing in Devontae Adams and all of this season, making some changes with the front office. And I agree, Rodgers is the problem now. But before the Achilles, I don't think that he was going to be the problem. I really thought that he was going to help get that team to the playoffs last year. And I think that Achilles has done him in. He's officially washed. He's officially done. Because even his last couple of years with the Packers, when he was no longer able to get the ball downfield on a consistent basis and move the ball, he still made these smart decisions that you needed for the type of team that they have structured, with Breece Hall being able to run the football, the defense doing most of the heavy lifting, and get that awesome game manager that knows how to play football, like all of that. And say what you want about the Achilles, like he should be over it, whatever. Like I just think he's finally done. I think that whole season, extra season, put it over the top. So that's why the Jets this year are my disappointment between these other two, because just as we said, like we kind of saw on paper that the Cowboys weren't going to be as good this year as they even were last year, and they were a disappointment last year. And the 49ers we can chalk up to injuries. I agree with that. So for me, it's the Jets.
Rich, did you?
If you're a fan of the 49ers, like you don't care if it was injuries that stopped them. Like you're still disappointed. You had Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you're right.
Well, then it's the Colts because they still will not get rid of Anthony Richardson. like I mean, you can come up with anything, but at least the injuries you can't help.
I mean, but the Colts were, the Colts were never on the radar.
I'm not sold that, like, I mean, yes, the fans of the 49ers felt like they were going to the Super Bowl, but fans of the Eagles or Green Bay feel the same way. The fans of the Lions feel that way too. Like there's team, if you're one of the fans of one of the good teams in the NFC, you don't think that the 49ers were a lock. So only their fans did. And like, yeah, of course they're disappointing to their fans, but like, 31 teams are a disappointment to their fans at the end of the season.
That it was only the fans that thought the 49ers were the best team in the NFC.
I'm not saying only them, but then when you start saying, okay, well, Ayuk's going to be out and he's going to hold out all offseason, and when you say Christian McCaffrey is going to be hurt and their second and third and maybe fourth running back is going to be hurt, like, then you start going, okay, well, yeah, it's disappointing that they're not going to be contending like they're supposed to be, but at least there's a reason that you understand. Everybody in the offseason, except for, fans that typically hate the Jets. Look at the Jets defense was primed with a halfway decent offense. Even last year, with anybody that could have thrown the ball better than what they had, anybody, literally anybody, that team could have been a playoff team. And then you say, okay, Rodgers is back and he's healthy and he says he's 100%, and you go, okay. And then you add Devontae Adams, that just seems so much more disappointing. But it is what it is. Got a note in our private chat that Breece Hall is active. So all those times we answered Breece Hall, that's good for us. Rich, you haven't said who's more disappointing yet.
Yeah, we talked too much about it, so let's move forward.
I agree.
All right. Speaking of disappointing, Ham forever.
Canned ham. It lasts forever.
Breece is expected to play, but the Jets are eliminated. Think he plays entirely. Backup running backs, Chubb or Irving. I think everybody here would say Breece over those two when he's active, right?
Yeah.
Because Irving's hurt. Irving's hurt too, and
Jimmy, if
Cleveland's
you're still here, who's your survivor pick this week?
Listen,
And,
it's the Jets. So while they should not play Breece Hall entirely, and they should see what they have more in Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, they will play Breece Hall fully, unfortunately. So for your fantasy purposes, go ahead and play Breece.
Well, and it's an intern coach too that wants to try to coach his way into a spot somewhere, even if it's not for the Jets. He would probably prefer not with the Jets, but so yeah, he's gonna want his players to play.
Are you talking about Aaron Rodgers? He's the coach.
D's Nut says pick 2 running backs. So pick 2 running backs. Gotcha. Okay. Cook, Monty, Breece, Charbonnet. I'm gonna start with Rich because he gave me the thumbs up before he forgets. We're picking 2 running backs.
Oh, pick 2.
I thought that's what the thumbs up was for.
Monty and Charbonnet.
Monty and Charbonnet. Okay, thumbs up, David.
Monty and Breece.
All right, so Monty and Charbonnet win with 1 for Breece. 1 tight end, Laporta or Hunter Henry. I'm going to start with David.
Laporta.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
3 thumbs up. 4 thumbs up. Laporta. Okay.
When David picks something different than all of us, it just seems like he's so angry when he gives his choice.
Because he wants to vote with us, but he wants to go against us.
No, I'm not on the Charbonnet boat. I wanted to go James Cook and Monty, and that's why I was upset. But Cook, especially against the Lions defense, I'm just a little worried about him today.
Well, calm it down. We still have to pick a flex. One wide receiver, McConkey, Waddle, Thielen. I'll start with you, David.
London.
Oh yeah, London, McConkey, Waddle, Thielen. Okay, London. Rich.
I'm going McConkey.
London, McConkey. Justin.
London.
2 London. Mark.
I'm just gonna give both of my answers here because I think they're both kind of the same. So it doesn't matter where you play them. London and Thielen for me.
That's who it is for me too for flex.
The wide receiver and flex.
So it's London is the wide receiver, and then now we're doing a flex. We've got 1 vote for Thielen. Oh, we've got 2 votes for Thielen. Justin.
My flex is Breece.
Yeah, same here. Mine's Breece.
And I will break the tie by saying Thielen. So it is. Now let me go back through this. We have Monty Charbonnet, Laporta, London, Thielen.
Hey, throw your quarterbacks in here too. I'm curious. Pick the whole lineup.
Should Cup owners worry about playing him next week if they survive their playoff week? Nope. It's a 1-week thing. Cup's still a huge part of that offense. I mean, look, he's 100% supplanted as the wide receiver 1 there, right? Like Nakua is the guy. It is what it is, but you got to go with yeah. And Also in the private chat, somebody mentioned we're being told again that Njoku's out. Thank you, Sleeper. But yeah, you're gonna have to start Cup for the rest of the season. So
And he still had 3 targets. It was a rainy first half. Like I'm not worried about him at all.
The rain was ridiculous. It really was. It put a huge damper on the offense of that game.
So Jameis or Herbert at the later game with Lad questionable. Raise your hand if it's Herbert.
If he doesn't have if he has no negative points in his league, I would go Jameis. Otherwise, it's definitely Herbert.
Okay, so 3 for Herbert, 1 for. Also, could pick up Kirk, Wilson, or Stroud. Anybody picking up any of these 3 over? No. Kirk hasn't thrown a touchdown in a month. Now, I think he should probably do better against the Raiders. Probably. But
if
man,
he does
no
it,
touchdowns.
The roar for Michael Penix Jr. is going to be almost deafening.
Yeah.
Once again, Crosby's out, so he'll have a better game.
Yep. My son says good morning and hi. Hi, Eli, if you're still watching. He has his own phone now, so maybe he's watching it on his phone. But he, at 12 years old, we told him he could have a phone like 6 years ago, so we had to honor that.
I don't want to talk about it. My kids came home with a Christmas note saying how awesome their parents were and blah, blah, blah. And I had said no phones until they were at least teenagers. So they had their first phone when they were 8 and 5. And it might have been the biggest regret of my life.
We did just get word Kenneth Walker is out.
And for Justin's favorite thing about fantasy football, the Browns are making a kicking change. Dustin Hopkins is being benched for Riley Patterson.
I'll take a look.
Pick 2, Hopkins, Elijah Moore, Irving, or Andrews. Pick 2.
Okay, we're still not starting Riley Patterson against the Chiefs. I'm sorry. Not going to happen.
David.
Shit. I'm going to lean Hopkins and Andrews.
All right. Rich.
In the words of my fellow man to my left, I hate this question. I was surprised he didn't say that. That's why I was.
This is a full disclosure. This is my question.
But you suck.
This is a team you drafted, bud. I don't want to.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, and you're in the playoffs, so.
Oh, listen, I'm the number 1 seed. So.
Well, you're welcome.
The real trouble I'm in is Dobbins is on IR, and the pickups I had didn't work out, and Irving got hurt, who had 30 points 2 games in a row. You don't have to start a tight end in this league, so Andrews is the and right now I have, full disclosure, I have Hopkins and Irving in the lineup, and just be damned because my opponent is the Chase Burrow owner, so I need points.
That would have been
even though
Irving and Hopkins. I think with those 4 options, it's worth taking the risk with Irving.
Yeah, if that's your scenario, yeah, I'm going Irving and Hopkins
so,
as well, not Andrews.
This guy was 6 and 8. You got to hear his team. He's got Burrow, Jones, Stevenson, Chase, Hill, Higgins, Ridley.
What, did he just put in the wrong people every week?
Well, Hill's been down. Higgins has been hurt, right? Ramondre's been relatively terrible, but he's got a good matchup this week. So, he's not had a ton of luck. But yeah. So I already got 19 points in this league from Kyron Williams. So I did enough to bring the game within striking distance. But okay, so I've got one for Hopkins and Andrew. I think that's what you said, right, David? And then I've got one for Hopkins
I changed it to Hopkins and Irving.
Hopkins and Irving. Okay, so that's 2 for those. Justin, you agree?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Sorry.
fine.
Sorry, I'm just gonna dip out for a minute. Something's going down in another league.
Okay, and then Rich.
Yeah, in this situation, I think I'd roll with Hopkins and Irving, unless you get like last minute word he is not going to play. I'd roll with Andrews.
Yeah, so the tough part there is that it's a 4:00 game and I don't have a pivot, so I'm gonna have to pay attention and pick somebody up at 4 if Irving doesn't play.
Bobby Ham's got to go. I smell bacon at my house.
All right. For Nate, Rogers, Bryce, or Rogers or Bryce Young.
It's Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
All right. Good morning from Mini Jordan 718. Mahomes, Tour, or Stroud?
Shit.
Not shit.
I'm going Tua.
I'm gonna go Tua as well, and I don't
I'm
like
going
it.
Mahomes. Mahomes
2 for 2. 2 for 2, 1 for Mahomes. And then Jonnu or McBride in standard. I think okay. These are the questions we already answered for.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Mini Jordan 718. Full PPR. Ladd, McLaren, or Jacoby Myers? Mark.
Scary Terry.
Rich.
Yeah, I'm going Scary Terry.
David.
I like all of those. I'm gonna go Scary Terry as well, though.
All right, that's 3 for Terry. Manny Jordan says Washington or Baltimore defense.
Washington.
Baltimore for me against Tommy Cutlets.
Not me. Baltimore's defense has been terrible no matter who they're facing. I'm gonna go with Washington.
Yeah, Washington's playing. God, what's his name? It's not even like their rookie quarterback. It's a different guy with New Orleans. Anybody remember his name?
Oh,
At least you know Tommy.
Hayner.
Hayner.
Yeah. Jake Hayner.
Which I like Hayner.
Hayner's not bad. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Burrow or Daniels? This has to be Burrow, right?
Burrow, yeah.
Yeah, you can't bench Burrow the way he's been playing.
Fun question. Do you think Ben Johnson will be the next Bears coach? If not, then who?
Just think of whoever could be the worst possible decision. That's probably what the Bears will do.
Yeah, they're not good at picking. I mean, I'll say Liam Cohen from the Bucks.
Listen, I don't know what the deal is over there in Detroit. Who's their head coach? His name's
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell has created this environment over there where they are super faithful. But Ben Johnson and their defensive coordinator could have got head coaching jobs last year, and they both stayed. I don't think they stay this year. I think they go and get head coaching jobs. I do think that they'll respect the Lions, though, and not take it in their division.
I'll say yes. Why not? I mean, you're going there. You've got DJ Moore. You've got Adunze. You've got some offensive building blocks with Caleb. If you think he's a quarterback of the future, like they've got building blocks there. I think it's as good a spot for a head coach as we've seen lately. So I don't see why not.
I don't think he stays in the division with the Lions. I think that he's going to get a starting job, but there's so many available. He can take one elsewhere.
Welcome back. Everything okay, sir?
Yep. I'll talk to Mark about it after the show.
Uh-oh.
Is it the Powers League?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and David. Yeah, I can talk to you about it as well, but Mark knows a little bit about this, so.
Hey,
Okay.
I don't even know the situation, but I was in the league last year, and I could already tell you that's the reason why I'm not back in this year.
It's tough. It's a tough league.
All right, start 2 running backs. Everybody's benching Tracy, right?
Like, I hate Najee, and I'm still starting him over Tracy.
That's kind of where I thought Justin would go. I saw. Well, listen, nobody else spoke up, so David.
Stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna bench Tracy.
All right, Mark.
Benching Tracy.
And then I saw Frito shake his head. So
Yeah, so I'll do a board bet on this. Tracy outproduces Harris today.
Okay, I'll take the Harris side.
I'm not touching it. I'm not allowed to, or Harris will automatically lose, and the Steelers will get raffle stomped.
I am gonna give this one to David first. Bryce Young or Russ Wilson?
It's Bryce Young.
Mark?
Bryce Young.
Rich?
I will go Bryce Young.
And then Justin.
Young.
All right. I think that has to be the first time we've ever been unanimous on anybody selecting Bryce Young for anything. Like, I don't even think his mom picked Bryce Young as the child.
We just all chose him over Rodgers earlier.
That's
Oh,
true.
I must not have been in on that one. That must have been when I dipped out because I told him I would go Rodgers.
See? Let's see. Oh, so this was the one where we were talking about defenses, and he was saying those are players he already has. All right, you're showing a card. What do you got?
Yes. So we just pulled this last night. Speaking about Benson, this is a 5 out of 5 Nike swoosh auto for Trey Benson.
Well, why don't you tell? Because I tend to forget at the end of the show. Why don't you tell people about Genesis Card Breaks?
Yeah, so we do card breaks over on Facebook under Genesis Card Breaks. Mostly football, although we've branched out a little bit. We've had some more requests for WWE. We've done UFC. We've done baseball, a little bit of basketball. So just come on over and have some fun. These were my favorite. I broke these last night. These were holiday calendars that are kabooms, and it opens up like that.
What the?
And it has 24 packs in it. You could get a kaboom or an explosive, which is a case hit. But I love the packaging. Like,
what is Panini doing?
I don't know, but I love it. I'm here for it.
Oh, God.
I feel like we're a couple of weeks, season over. We're a couple of weeks to David having Pokemon in the background.
I have a whole box of Pokemon cards back here because my kids went to a comic book store once and they played the game because they had like a basic setup of how to teach the kids, and they were like, we love this. So I went out and spent like $3,000 on Pokemon cards over about 6 months. Kids haven't touched them once.
You know what? Number 1 draft pick 2025. We got a whole off season to get there.
Oh, for the fans?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later.
Listen, we already know if the Giants get the number 1 pick, they're going Shadur Sanders. He's already up there in New York throwing to Malik neighbors in the streets. All right.
But
going Sanders,
Deion's already said. Deion already said he will not go to the Giants. Deion is going to tell, there's probably 2 or 3 teams in the NFL that could potentially get him, and Deion wants him to go to the Raiders. So, yeah. It's already etched in stone.
Cam Ward is going to the Giants.
The number 1 pick should be Travis Hunter. He's the best player in college football right now.
I disagree entirely. I think that it was a travesty that he got the Heisman.
You can disagree, but you're wrong. There hasn't been
I'm not saying he's not.
There hasn't been a player that dominated on both sides of the ball.
Dominated.
Yes,
That's a terrible word. He did not dominate nothing. There's 10 receivers with better stats. There's 10 cornerbacks with better stats.
He was top 10 both sides of the ball. So there weren't 10 that were better on both sides of the ball than him. And there hasn't been anybody who's done that since Charles Woodson. And
okay, so those are all the arguments you'll be seeing in the offseason from the Toilets Titles.
Yeah, you'll have lots of them.
Well, maybe we'll bring back the old couple-minute debates, and then you guys can argue all about it.
Well, we'll have the Friday night table too, right?
Krana says, "Oh, so Krana earlier, we wanted to hear what the other running backs were. The other one was Chase Brown. So I know you guys aren't benching Chase Brown.
Not a chance.
So
Chase and Monty.
does everyone want AJ Brown to go off against the Steelers? I know at least one person doesn't want that.
I do not want that. In fact, I hope that they target him and try to force feed him the ball so that we could get some easy picks off of it.
Let's see. Words. Is Metcalf worth holding on to? Geno's thrown 1 tutty a game in 12 to 13 games so far. This is a standard league. I mean, he's worth holding on to. You never know. Like, he hasn't been the wide receiver one, but doesn't mean Jackson Smith and Jigba won't get hurt or, whatever. So, yeah, worth holding on to. What are you going to drop him for?
Right? Yeah.
Ramsaholic says, Cousins are young.
Young.
It's young for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Rams house.
How gross is that? Oh, all right. We got, okay, Rich, pick 2 here. Waddle, Myers, or BTJ? Pick 2.
Bench Waddle.
Oh, that's not what George would want, but that's okay.
I'm
Justin.
BTJ.
Okay. David's benching BTJ. David. Or
Sorry,
Justin.
one of the babies is in the kitchen in a high chair staring at me and smiling.
I'm benching Waddle.
2 benching Waddle. Mark.
Benching BTJ.
All right, I got to break the tie. I'm gonna bench BTJ. Waddle's been playing well. Ramsaholic also says Pacheco or Cook. We're gonna start with David.
Sorry, so distracted. It's Pacheco.
All right, Pacheco. Mark.
Pacheco. He went from 7 carries to 14, so I think they're up in his workload.
That's 2. Justin. Pacheco or Cook?
Cook.
All right, and Rich.
Pacheco.
3 for Pacheco, 1 for Cook. Final question. Oh, well, Jimmy says Cardinals are the survivor pick, so we were asking that earlier.
Yeah. I have Baltimore this week against the Giants.
I do as well. I saved them. Again, it's a terrible situation, although it's one of my favorite things to be able to say, okay, I have the Ravens in something like a survivor pick, but at the same time, if they lose, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm happy that the Ravens lost. So,
I mean,
Actually, we're gonna get
though. That's a couple thousands of dollars. So yeah, it would be the end of the world.
I'd prefer the thousands of dollars. Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna do these fantasy questions first, and then we'll get to some of the fun ones if we want. Tyrone Tracy, McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Keon Coleman in the flex PPR.
Just one of those?
I guess.
It's McConkey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's just one, McConkey. If it's a different question than that, Andrew, let us know. Krana says Winston or Mahomes.
Do you get points for cheesy, corny pep talks that are so cringeworthy? It's Mahomes. It's Mahomes.
Those speeches are phenomenal.
They might inspire the guy that also watches Little Giants before every Sunday.
I'm starting to think it's
his lineups.
I'm starting to think it's not a anti-Watson thing with Justin, and it's an anti-Browns thing. But Mark.
Mahomes. Unless you're in a league with no negatives, then you start Winston.
David.
It's Mahomes.
I'll board bet that. I think Winston outproduces Mahomes.
All right, I'll take that.
That's fun. I just like watching Winston play.
We've been going back and tracking our board bets that we've been doing on these days.
Yes,
yeah,
I type them up.
Know my record here.
I type them up. I'll share it with you guys.
All right. Smart or Freiermuth at tight end, Justin?
This one's for me, by the way.
Freiermuth for me. with no Pickens.
I'm going with Smart. You're talking about Stone Smart, right? The Chargers starting tight end. That's the position has been taking on several good PPR fantasy points over the last several weeks, and then he stepped in the fourth quarter last week and got 3 catches for 54 yards. Yeah, definitely that guy with a great matchup this week. Oh yeah,
Rich?
Fryermuth, I mean, he's gonna have plenty of options. Williams is still coming into it, still learning the offense. I think Fryermuth is. I'll be honest with you. I think he's the leading target for Steelers today.
David?
I'm not allowed to pick Steelers players, and I'm curious as to what you're going to say, so I'm going to tie it up and go Smart.
Me? I already said Firemuth.
Oh, who didn't go?
Mark.
Me. This is my question. It's
Okay.
for me.
Well, damn. Well,
So
then I'll go Muth for you because that's what I actually think. But I just wanted to see it, see the drama, tie it up.
yeah. I'll board bet that one. It's obviously Smart for me. Like it's not even close.
Every time I ask you guys a question, you split it down the line.
Don't tell us it's your question anymore.
So Dustin wants to know about our private chat because he's a Patreon. He wants in on everything, but it's a private show chat we have. That during the show we have the comments that we can pull up. There's also a private chat amongst us. So if somebody says they have to go to the bathroom, or somebody wants to mention that we have a sponsor, or somebody wants to mention a player's in or out, the host can read it. And I'm just a bad enough host that I read those on air instead of just keeping it private. Mostly because
unfortunately, that's not something we can give you access to, Dustin, unless you're on the show. So
mostly I think it's funny, so that's why I do it. And I'll be on. This is something back when I started Break from the Grind podcast, which we haven't done in a good long time. I think Justin ruined it. Is what happened.
You haven't even posted the last 2 that
Just
we
the last
recorded
one.
like years ago. Whatever.
But what I told my audience then is what I tell the audience now is when I do shows, I do them for me, and if I help you out, that's cool. But I do these shows because I have fun doing these shows, and if I can make somebody uncomfortable or if I can read a private chat, I do that because that's how I like to roll.
Be honest, Jason. You lost episode 101, right? Or 100 or whatever it was.
No, it's still on my computer. It's like 75% edited.
Yeah, eventually that computer is going to fry and you're no longer going to be able to access it. You need to get it up. Let's go.
Maybe New Year's Day. What do you think?
Get it done. Hey, that'll be fun.
I had George and I did this show, Break from the Grind. It was just the two of us talking. And one week we didn't do a show, but we'd had a stretch of shows, and it was April Fool's week. So I did a show that was basically the intro, 45 minutes of dead air, and then the outro. And most people just realized that I was just screwing with them. But I had one guy that listened to us that was like mowing his lawn, and he said he listened to the intro. And then he was mowing his lawn, so he didn't screw around with like changing it. And he let it roll for 45 minutes, and then he heard the outro. And he just laughed his ass off, which was kind of the point. So I got one that time. All right, we got a couple of these questions. I know it's 12:04, so if you guys want to jump off, but we have a couple of questions. They're not necessarily we have this. Should I start Noah Gray, Cal Katera, or pick up Smart at tight end?
Yes.
Last week I said not on the Caltera any scores. But in this situation, I'm going to go Smart.
Smart.
And pick Smart.
Justin, you staying with Smart?
Absolutely. He's going to have he's at least going to be double digits PPR fantasy points.
Mark?
Smart.
3 for Smart. Justin?
Convinced me I have to put Smart in my lineup.
All right, let's see. We got Coach Belichick, coach in college, upgrade or downgrade? 5 years, 50 million, not bad. I want to see how. Does he change his style with college kids and recruiting?
You have to.
He's already said he went on before he signed with North Carolina. He went on the McAfee show and he said, "I just want to stress if I do take a college job, it will be an NFL team at the college level." He's like, "We're going to prep the same way we do for the NFL. Everything's going to run exactly the same. It's an NFL team at a college level." And I think recruiting wise, I think you're going to see him taking a lot of older kids, a lot of kids from the transfer portal. I said it in our Discord chat. I think he's going to be like Calipari was for basketball. He's going to get a lot of these one and done guys who want to make a jump to the NFL, and that's how he's going to run his team.
Anybody actually think it's going to work?
I mean, namesake alone, you're going to get kids that want to go there. He's got to find a quarterback, and I think it's going to be hard for him to find a quarterback this late.
Yep. And then last question before we go.
Questions too.
Oh, okay, yeah. Last David questions. Does Sam Darnold deserve a long-term contract?
As a backup.
Sure.
He's going to get a long-term contract, and it's probably not going to be with Minnesota.
The Raiders?
He does. I think he gets a contract that's like something that can be restructured later, but a kind of a prove-it contract. Because right now the whole storyline is it's because he's in Minnesota with this great team. It has to be seen if he can go somewhere else and do it with another roster and another scheme. I think it's going to be something like a 2-year where they can get out of it after the first year. Somewhere 25 million or whatever. Yeah, he'll start somewhere in the league next year. There's enough jobs that he should be starting next year. Where it's going to be, I have no idea.
I think he at least gets a 4-year deal somewhere.
He's going to be it's either going to be him or Daniel Jones in Las Vegas next year. Those are the type of quarterbacks that team takes on. All right, David, you had questions.
Yeah, they all involve DJ Moore, and it's in 3 different leagues. I have him on my bench in all the leagues now, so Mark says that's the right decision.
Well, Mark says that's the right decision. Justin says that's the wrong decision. So you really only have me and Rich.
Right, and it depends on my other players. Now that's where it becomes tricky. So in the one league, I have Jamar Chase. Obviously, he's staying in. And I have CeeDee Lamb. And that, to me, just with Cooper Rush makes it a little bit. The last time DJ Moore faced the Vikings, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches. Do I stick with Lamb in that one?
I do.
I stick with Lamb.
Okay. And then in the other one, I had Puka Nacua and Juwan Jennings, so I really wish I had put him in for Juwan Jennings, but I have Malik Neighbors currently in with DJ Moore and T. Higgins on the bench.
I'd go DJ Moore. DJ Moore.
I knew he would. I do DJ Moore over Neighbors.
I would
Mark
not.
says.
Oh, wait. You know what? There's a narrative, though. Here is a narrative for you. All right, David. Last season in my main home league, I was the number 1 seed. I went up against a bad team who had T. Higgins, who went off for 2 touchdowns and like 200 yards. It was one of those, few games where he shows up and he actually plays. And when he does, he actually caught it. And he beat me, put me out in the first round of the playoffs. This year, main home league, I'm the 1 seed. I'm facing the 8 seed. The 8 seed has T. Higgins. You better start T. Higgins. Because that mother effer is going to do it.
I'd be playing Higgins in this situation too.
It's going to happen to me again. And then I'm going to fold the league. after 16, 17 years, I'm going to fold it if it happens 2 years in a row.
I'll put it this way. In this game situation, Higgins and Chase could be in the top 5 after it's all said and done for this week's games.
Okay. And then my last one, I mean, Justin Jefferson's staying in, but I have Garrett Wilson over DJ Moore.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. I like DJ Moore, but Garrett Wilson.
Okay. Thanks, fellas. That's all I needed.
I got one thing. David, are you sitting in your new chair?
No, I don't bring that out here in the garage. That's in front of my desktop in my bedroom.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a relatively new chair, and my daughter was like, I want a chair. And I was like, I'm not buying her a new chair. It's her first chair. She's going to ruin it. And then I walked by that one, and it said it has a massager. And I was like, I want a new chair. So Dina got it for me.
Let's I mean, we can go next week. I guess we'll get into Christmas gifts. We can get into more Christmas stuff. I was going to talk about what you guys were asking Santa for Christmas.
Honestly, surprised we took a full show worth of questions with, at least 50% of leagues now on bye or, done for the season. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
All my teams to be in the playoffs, to keep on going in the playoffs. So that's what I want.
Yeah, I think everybody here will think we gave good enough advice that there'll be a bunch of questions next week. Assuming we'll probably, if you guys are good with it, we'll do another show. It'll probably be our last show because I can't imagine even and then any questions you'd have for us for the finals when you make it. We can ask us in our Discord or, reach out to us on Toilets Title. So I think we're at least going to do next week. If it's completely full next week, we'll talk about doing one more. And then, but if next week's short, we can cut it off short too. Like if we answer all the questions real quick. I don't mind hanging out with y'all though. So we can talk Christmas for an hour for all I care.
Next week I'll be in the Meadowlands.
Week too. We could do it every week. I don't care. I'll talk football every week.
You'll be in the Meadowlands, Mark. Does that mean you won't be here, or you just be in a different spot to do the show?
No, I'm gonna be at the Rams game. Maybe I'll jump in from the stadium, give you a quick look at the game.
Well, what time's the game?
1:00. So I'm sure I'll be there. Like it's 12:13 now. I'm sure we're gonna be in the stadium by 12:00. But
I should hope you'd be drunk by 12.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin asked if we answered his questions earlier because he can't see them because, he's going to have to go back to when we answered them.
Did you answer your questions from earlier? Then I can't see them anywhere. Yeah, you typed them up, so we answered them. If you guys, do you want to go back through them?
I mean, it could be real quick.
Yeah, give me a second to find them. I posted them, so.
Rich, I just saw the Blake Corum autograph. That's nasty.
This is Tua, right?
I've been on a tear with breaks this week, man.
Oh yeah, that's not his.
That's not his. This is one of his.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
Oh, you're just gonna pull it from there? Okay.
Yeah, so we had Jonnu McBride, standard. I think I broke the tie there with
McBride.
Shit, now I broke the tie with McBride. Rashad White, Tracy, or Mooney in standard.
He said he found them.
Oh, he did. Okay, cool. We're good. We're good.
You can ask more next week. So,
hey, Mark, if you're at the stadium next week, I'm gonna send you a picture of a hat I'm looking for.
Okay.
And I would give you. I mean, if you, I'll Venmo you $50. And I've been looking for this hat forever. So I would, if you see somebody wearing it, I want you to walk up to them and offer them $50 for it.
All right, it's a Jets hat or no?
No, it's a Rams hat.
Oh, okay. I doubt there's going to be a ton of us there, but yeah.
Why do you want a Rams hat?
My father-in-law's been a Rams fan since he was young. So, and there was a blue and black LA hat from the Super Bowl year, and he told us he liked the hat after they stopped selling it. And then it was a Super Bowl winning, like it was the hat from the Super Bowl winning year. Yeah. So like, there's been one on eBay in the last 2 years, and I missed it. And there was one on Mercari 2 weeks ago, and somebody snatched it up before I saw it. So I've been trying to buy this thing for him for a couple of years.
Send the picture to me regardless. I know some people out in LA that might know something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm willing to overpay for this hat at this point, so I can stop looking at freaking eBay and Mercari every day to see if I can find this.
I'll try to find it for $50 and make you overpay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't care if you take a finder's fee. If you can walk up to a dude and offer him 35 and he takes it and you get to keep the 50, I don't care. I'm looking for it.
If I find the hat, you're not overpaid. You'll pay whatever.
I'm screwing you over. No, you should find the picture of it and post it on here next week and see if anybody
has it.
Can see if anybody.
I know Ramsaholic, maybe Ramsaholic.
Yeah, he might have it hanging up.
So it is probably the coolest hat of theirs I've seen. It's the one like Raheem Morris wore it every on the sideline every game. Matt Stafford wore it a bunch that year too. It is their sideline hat. So I'll send you the picture of it because I've been trying to find this for my father-in-law for a couple years, and I don't want to give up on it, but I also don't want to keep looking for it, to be honest. So with that said, guys, we will be back here at 10 o'clock next week to do the show again. Hopefully George can be back. We can talk about our Christmas. Reading hurts brain. We'll be back here. We can talk about our Christmas schedules, like what we do on Christmas Day. We can talk about what gifts we're hoping for. I already know my Christmas gift, so there's that. And we can talk some more football like we always do. So with that said, patreon.com/toiletstitle is it's scrolling down at the bottom. For me, for Mark, who just gave you the peace sign, for Rich, for Justin, for David, for all of us here at Toilets Titles, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this again, and we will see you again next week.